So we spent the night at a hotel near the airport. Then we woke up the next day ready to start the next leg of our trip. And this year we had the option to take a flight from Abuja into Jos, but it was recommended to the new timers that we take the 4 to 6 hour drive through the city, into the country, and all the way out to Jos. And I'm really glad I did, because I got to see Nigeria up close and personal on the ground. So if you've never been to a country where the traffic laws are basically non-existent, it's a very, very unique experience. And the best way that I can describe it is organized chaos. But somehow it all works and everybody gets to where they need to go in one piece. So the first couple hours of the drive was trying to make it out of the city. It was rush hour. People were in the markets. People were walking alongside the roads, motorcycles and KKs weaving in and out of traffic. But the most shocking thing that you see is how high people would stack things on top of their car, van, or truck and still try to make it to wherever they need to go. And it really redefined the laws of physics in my mind. But again, somehow they make it all work. And to their credit, I think some of them are actually better drivers than some of the people in Texas here. But what really stood out to me was that people obviously could tell that we weren't Nigerian. And instead of being met with mean mugs and cold stares, once they got over that initial surprise or shock of who was in the car, they automatically started to wave and smiled in this very warming and welcoming way. And I don't know if it's just because I'm super cynical by nature or if it has anything to do with my time in the Middle East, but I just assume that people in other countries have like this general level of disdain for Americans. But from day one, God was trying to tear down the walls around my heart by showing me the kindness that lives inside of the Nigerian people. But after making it through a bunch of checkpoints, we eventually made it out of the city, and the landscape eventually dissolved into this beautiful, open, African green landscape that I'll never forget. And before I knew it, we're pulling up to the gate to our hostel where I would be staying for the next 2 weeks. I think it's safe to say that all of us took a sigh of relief once we realized that we had finally made it to Jos. And I remember thinking about the apostles on their first mission trip without any provisions, walking for weeks and weeks and weeks, not knowing if they were going to eat that night or where they were going to sleep. And then that just made me so thankful for the men and women like Papa Bob, Auntie Jana, all the other missionaries who came before me, who paved the way and made our journey in just so simple, comfortable. And that just made me so grateful for that. Looking back now, I can see how all of the challenges, all of the pain, all of the suffering that I've experienced in my life, all of those things that I used to view as a punishment, that was God's way of refining me and preparing me for this moment. But why God had brought me to Nigeria was still a mystery. So I was still walking by faith. And all I knew was that now it was finally time to punch in and get to work.